What's going on, y'all? So a while ago, probably I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, I made a video and I was saying that I think that if you replace Manu Ginobili with Steven Jackson on those San Antonio Spurs teams, I think the results would be the same. You got a lot of guys a whole lot of people that were upset with me, telling me I don't know basketball, saying that Steven Jackson was a bum. I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen to what I'm saying. I watch basketball religiously, right? I really watch basketball religiously. I've been watching it since I was a little boy, small boy. I watch players play. I use the eye test. The eye test when I watch dudes play. And, you look at statistics as well. When you say Steven Jackson is a bum, I know you don't watch sports. I know you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I know you don't. Because if you seen that man playing, no way in hell you can say that man's a bum. There's no way in hell. And when I said that the results would be the same, I said the fact that Steven Jackson could shoot. He could put the ball on the floor. He could defend. He could do a lot of things well, a lot of things very well. It's just he's not as respected as Manu and Tony Parker because he didn't stay with the Spurs and continue to win championships with them. You can argue that if Manu and Tony ever left the Spurs, they would never win another championship. Like Steven Jackson didn't win another championship. If he left them, you could say the same thing for Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Because as good as they weren't transcendent superstars. So, and I saw a post that Steven Jackson made for it all time. He had a team, of all the teammates he played, he made like a starting five and a bench. And he didn't include Tony Parker. His point guards were, I believe, Baron Davis and Stephon Marbury. He played with Steph for 1 year, and he played with Baron Davis for several years. And somebody said, no Tony Parker? And he said, Stephon and Baron Davis were both better than Tony Parker, and they were. They were. And somebody responded, come on, man. All of the championships that Tony got, NBA Finals MVP, let's be real. Tony was a product of the San Antonio Spurs as much as the Spurs were a product of Tony Parker. They didn't win solely because of Tony. Tony helped, but Tony was in a winning system, a winning product. If you put other players in there, they would win too. Certain guys would win too. Now, I'm not saying that Tony dictated the game excellent. He was a great, very, very good point guard. I'm not saying that. But to me, Baron Davis and Stephon Marbury were better players than Tony. So you see how that fits in? Certain guys are more respected in people's eyes because they have championships. But at the same time, look who that's playing with. The greatest power forward of all time. And Tim Duncan, one of the greatest basketball minds of all time, and Greg Popovich. So, certain guys are going to be looked at with much more, they're going to be revered much more. People don't revere Steven Jackson because they don't remember the teams he played for. They're new to basketball. They don't remember that Golden State team that took out the 67-15 Dallas Mavericks when Avery Johnson was the coach of the year and Dirk Nowitzki was the MVP of the league at that time. They don't remember Golden State being an 8th seed in the Western Conference. Even though they won a lot of games, they were an 8th seed, and they got them boys out of there 4-2. They eliminated the Dallas Mavericks 4-2. They don't remember them punking them boys like that. And they don't remember Steven Jackson being a pivotal player in that series. They don't remember Steven Jackson being a pivotal player for the Spurs beating the New Jersey Nets in the 0-2 finals. They don't remember him hitting clutch shots to help San Antonio get out of there. So they trying to tell me that because Manu got more rings than him, and he made, because first of all, they try to act like Manu was like an 8-time All-Star. Manu was a 2-time All-Star, 2-time. And I can argue that Steven Jackson could have been an All-Star as well. Y'all know that All-Star bids, that plays into what team you play for as well, right? Now, when Stack was putting up numbers, he was on teams that were playoff teams. They just weren't as in title contention as the San Antonio Spurs. So Tony would get Manu would get a nod over a guy like Steven Jackson because he plays with a team that maybe is on pace to win a certain amount of games. And Steven not playing with he not playing with Tim Duncan on his team. He playing with Baron Davis and Al Harrington and Monte Ellis or Gerald Wallace or, he playing with guys like that. Matt Barnes, Andres Biedrins. He playing with Jason Richardson. He not playing with coaches like Greg Popovich. He playing with Don Nelson, who basically didn't practice or preach defense the way Greg Popovich did. So, of course, the better team will belong to the team that Manu Ginobili's on. I'm not saying that Manu didn't help them be a better team. He did. But I'm saying Stack would have helped them become a better team as well if you replace Stack with Manu. Right? So, those teams go into contention. Somebody said he put up good numbers on horrible teams. No, the hell he wasn't. Them teams were playoff teams. He put Indiana, when he was averaging 19.8, 20.5, or 18 a game with Indiana. He was averaging, 21 a game with Charlotte, almost 22 a game. Almost 22 a game with Golden State in several years. 20 a game with them. Like, Atlanta, I think 18 a game with Atlanta. Like, them were playoff teams. For most, I don't remember if Atlanta was, but I know Charlotte was. Matter of fact, Steven Jackson year, when he was there with Gerald Wallace, they went to the playoffs for the first time, like I said before. The Charlotte Bobcats did. And when Steven was with Golden State, they beat the number 1 seeded Dallas Mavericks team. So you can't tell me he didn't make a difference on them teams. He wasn't playing with bad teams. He didn't win a title because he didn't have an all-time transcendent great player like Tim Duncan playing with him. He didn't. He didn't have a great basketball man like Greg Popovich playing with him. A guy that preached defense as well as offense and had better game plans to me than Don Nelson did. He didn't have them guys. Rick Carlisle really liked Rick Carlisle. He's not the same as Greg Popovich. He's not. So when you take those things into consideration, you got to understand. There's a lot of things that fall into being an all-star. I believe Jalen Rose should have been an all-star them years, especially the year Indiana he had. He should have been an all-star at least once, and he never got the nod with the numbers he was averaging. So a lot of stuff factors into that, man. Like, all-star bids going to some guys will get the nod because their team has a better record and they possibly playing with better talent. So they gonna get the nod over you, even though you got better numbers with them, and your team is still playoff good. Just you don't have the same personnel to help have you propel you to a better record as that team that the other guy belongs to. So that other guy that's averaging less than you, he's gonna be an all-star. He's gonna be an all-star before you because of those factors. Like, it was years that a lot of guys got snubbed that should have been all-stars before. You know what I mean? So, Lou Will should have been an all-star. What was that, last year? Did he get in? If he did, it was only the injury. But, yeah, man, like, stuff like that, like, I don't know. Like, y'all don't really know what all goes into that. Y'all can tell me a player's stats. I know all of Manu's accolades. I was a fan of the Spurs. I know all of Manu's accolades. But dude's going to tell me Manu would have averaged 27 on his own team. Hell no. He not. At best, I think Manu would have averaged 22. Probably 20, maybe 23, 22 or something like that. He ain't averaging 27. He ain't the same type of scorer Gilbert Arenas was. Y'all not trying to tell me that. No, he not. I don't care if he played with Tim, held him back, whatever. And if he averaged 27, like I tell you, he could have been on a lot more shots, and the team wouldn't have been that good. So, you could try to argue me all me down. I don't know basketball, all of that. You could say all this, say all that. But a lot of them, and when I went to a lot of those guys' pages, they had Spurs videos all up and down the feed. And they were Spurs fans that were mad that Steven Jackson said something critical of Tony Parker. And then when they were speaking bad on Kawhi Leonard, they were mad. They mad at the fact that Steven Jackson has voiced certain things about Spurs players and Spurs teammates. And they mad at how he came at Tony before. And there's a rumor of something Tony did in his personal life that make me say, like, oh, y'all really going to bat for Tony? For real? And there's a rumor of something that Tony possibly did to a teammate of his. But anyway, yeah, though, like, they said Baron Davis over Tony Parker? Hell yeah. Saving Stephon Marbury over Tony Parker? Hell yeah. 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 That's because a player got more championships don't mean they better. Robert Horry got 7 rings. There's guys that were at his position that was better than him. It is. Derek Fisher got 5 rings. You're not finna pick Derek Fisher over Derrick Rose? Hell no. You not. You got guys like D Rose. They say D Rose probably never be in the Hall of Fame. He will mess Tony Parker life up. He will mess Manu Ginobili life up if he guarding him. It is what it is. Monte Ellis, a guy they probably won't try to let in the Hall of Fame. Monte was tough. Golden State wasn't good. Monte was tough though. He was a very tough player. Golden State wasn't good them years after Steven Jackson, Baron Davis, and them left. Monte was tough though, but yeah, man, like people trying to tell me I don't know basketball because I said that. Like, no, I watch guys play. I watched the games. I watched them. Steven Jackson was he was a dog. He was going at it with a lot of different guys on the court, not just with his mouth. I'm talking about hooping, hitting big shots, big time shots. I remember watching it visibly. That's because you can't find a whole lot of YouTube clips of him. If he played with the Spurs all his career, you would find much more YouTube clips with him. And his numbers would have been less. It just would have been that you would find more content on him because he played with a team that's much more respected and they got championships. So when guys play with certain teams, their career gets boosted. It's a fact. When they play with certain teams, their career gets boosted more than it would have if they played with another team. Tony Parker would have played his whole career with the damn Charlotte Bobcats. He would not, and I repeat, Tony would not be a Hall of Famer. No, he wouldn't. I'm sorry. So that's just my opinion. Even though basketball is a much easier sport to get into the Hall of Fame than football or baseball, nah, man, nah. Manu not a Hall of Famer to me if he played with the Bobcats all his life or the Sacramento Kings. No, he not. So all that Hall of Fame stuff and all that, yes, he played with a gold medal team. They won against the Team USA. Team USA that didn't even play LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. That barely played them. Larry Brown, Hayden, didn't play them. Played them, 10, 15 minutes. Stop playing with that. Y'all needed that boy. They would have played Manu Ginobili and them when I don't know. No, I don't know. That team was really good though. I can't even say that. Them boys is good. It wasn't just Manu. Two people act like it was just Manu. No. Nocioni, Louis Scola and them boys was hooping. They had solid careers in the league themselves. If Nocioni would have played with the Spurs, they would have been talking about Nos. And Nos was averaging 14, 15. In the playoffs, he was averaging 20, 18 for the Bulls, for my Chicago Bulls. That I'm in the shot. And I've seen it. So if he would have played, he would have been more revered with them. If Louis Scola would have played, he would have been more revered with them possibly. So, yeah, like, Manu was a very, very good player, 2-time All-Star. People be acting like Manu was just like a 10-time All-Star. Like, no. So, my opinion is my opinion. You can get mad all you want to. I feel like if they replaced Steven Jackson with Manu, the results would have been the same. And I say it because I saw Steve play. I feel like Jack was great. Was a very, very good player, man. A very good player. Very good player. Very underrated player, in my opinion. Peace.